We've got the dollar index making 20-year highs. We've got the euro making 20-year lows. What's going on with Forex, and what can you do to be ready for the next moves in the major markets? Let's take a look at that right now. Now, important reminder that trading and investing can be extremely risky business. Therefore, it's your responsibility to evaluate any information, opinion, advice, or other content contained in this video. All right, now you see my TradeStation screens, and we are starting with the dollar index, all right? So as my husband and I like to say, in the pile of fiat dirty laundry, the dollar index is basically the least dirty article of clothing, meaning that fiat currency, right, floating currency, what the world goes around on, has its issues, but the dollar is faring best right now. And you can see that on this monthly chart, okay, here we are in 2022, going back all the way to the early 2000s, we are now at 20-year highs. Now, the monthly chart is showing these big green candles with move higher, but we are going to go down time frame by time frame to see what's up ahead for the dollar index in the next few days and maybe coming weeks. So just to give you a lay of the land here, I'm Hima Reddy and I love trading with my trifecta. It starts with price action here. So I use candlesticks, and I also use Gann's techniques, many of his price techniques, to aid my trading. I also look at market timing, and that's where I may bring in some forecasts. So you'll see the resulting forecasts if I choose to share them here. And the other part of my trifecta is momentum. And so that is via my RSI Power Zones indicator plotted down below, and you can get the settings and more education around the indicator in my courses and programs. So let's just take that context and look at the dollar index, right? Now you know we're looking at price, time, and momentum. So I have a price level here, 108.43 marked off. It's an important resistance, and this is a level, guys, that was not recently discovered. You could have been aware of this resistance as early as the summer of 2008. So a long time you could have been waiting for the market to get here and potentially stop. So I've shared in my Tribe Portal what the details of that resistance level are so that you can calculate them for yourself. All right, now let's move along to a lower time frame. So let's zoom in here on the monthly chart. And then let's look at this on a weekly time frame. So I'm simply going to come up here and change from monthly down to weekly. All right, now we can see more candles because now we're looking at every candle representing 1 week of price action, right? Not 1 month. So there's basically 4 candles per month on a weekly basis. Now we can see that this 108.43 was actually hit back in July, and we are coming up and testing it again. So notice how the dollar index has been able to get to that level, but it's not been able to post a weekly close above it. Because remember, the closing price is the most important piece of data in the bar. So this suggests to me that while we're at these new 20-year highs, there might be a little bit of a dance, a little bit of a consolidation or sideways action that may unfold. But I won't really know until I look more closely at the daily chart. Okay, looking down at momentum as well, you can see that we came up into the bull resistance power zone and have just been working off those conditions. But the overall trajectory of momentum on the dollar index since early 2021 is up. All right, now let's go to the daily time frame. All right, now in the daily time frame, if we still come back in and we analyze that move up from 2021, right? So starting right at the beginning in January of 2021, you can see it's taken us all the way up into the bull resistance power zone here in April, fell back to the bull support power zone in May, which is a beautiful characteristic of the RSI power zones, that you can use the movement between the zones to boost your trades. But it's not just about green and red. There's more to it. So that's where you can learn more in my courses. But coming back to the most recent action here, I want to give you some support levels to watch out for in case the latest break to new highs in the dollar index is not long-lived, is not sustained. All right. So the first thing I would look at is right here, 107.47, okay? And again, in the Tribe Portal, I'll explain why I picked that level. Now, if we get below 107.47, then there's room for a deeper move lower into 105.46. All right, so that's just preparing for the possibility that this is a failed test, an attempt at that key 108.43 long-term level, and we actually move lower from here. But if this current pause at this 108.43 continues higher, right, then we may see another leg of advances unfolding in the dollar index. And that's where I would bring in not only the monthly chart and its levels, but also consider some forecasting. So I'm going to just assess the situation here, look at my longer term charts here, and I'll be back in a second with a forecast. All right, so I'm back with a forecast. And the forecast is if we see the dollar index strength continue, again, this dance around 108.43 ends and we see a resumption higher, then my expectation, my forecast, combining price and time, is for the dollar index to rise to 110.26 by August 30th. That's what a forecast is, guys. It has time and price in it. It's not just, hey, we're going to trade up to this resistance, this price ceiling, or down to this support, this price floor. It actually has a time marker around it. And that's one of my favorite techniques to really help be prepared for market turns and changes. So we've done it. We've looked at price, time, and momentum and pulled out some of the most important elements here. And now you have support and resistance levels to monitor. And again, the details of these levels I'll share in more in depth in my Tribe portal. Okay, now we talked about the dollar index being at new highs. I want to look at the euro alongside of it because the poor euro is at 20-year lows. So here we have the monthly chart of the euro, and you can see coming back to this 2000 area, looking at 2002, we are definitely at 20-year low levels. Now, looking at the same trifecta here on the monthly chart of the euro, okay, price, time, and momentum. We are in a downtrend in price, a series of lower highs and lower lows on both a swing and a bar basis. And we have momentum that has now weakened from the bear resistance zone to the bear support power zone. So you can see that since 2009, all right, since the beginning of 2010, end of 2009, the bear resistance power zone in the monthly chart of the euro has been excellent in helping capture when the euro would be ready to turn lower. So what do I see now coming up ahead? Well, I see an important support, an area where this fall might kind of stall, might pause at 0.9203. Okay, and the details are listed in the Tribe portal with this video. So let's take this down a notch to the weekly chart and see what else is going on. All right, so here's that same decline in the weekly chart. Now we're kind of focusing in on the moves down from 2018 and down from early 2021. And you can see here that it's still weak, kind of pushing into the bear support power zone and testing this July 15th level. But so far this week, we have not really asserted below that. So when a market makes new lows, guys, but it doesn't really push past it, that could be the first signs that the move might be over. So if you have short positions relating to the euro dollar, then you may want to start managing those positions to protect profit, okay? That's the importance of knowing when a downtrend might be kind of losing steam, that the bears are not kind of pushing the cart along, and this market might, what I call, stabilize, like find a footing and slow down the fall. All right, on top of this, I'm going to look at some of the most recent price swing and bar highs, and this is a really important level to monitor, 1.0368, based on two different components. Again, detailed in the Tribe portal. So now let's bring this down to a daily chart. That same 1.0368 is detailed here. You can see how beautifully, guys, those of you who trade my RSI power zones, I hope you can see, whether you trade FX or not, how beautifully since May of 2021, the bear resistance power zone has fallen in line with drops in this market. I mean, let me show you here. There was one here, here, here. And again, they don't necessarily happen at the exact same time because momentum is a leading indicator to price. But that's the beauty of it. The momentum gives you that heads up saying, hey, I think things might be kind of starting to weaken again. And then you can use price forecasting, other techniques to take advantage of it, as well as patterns in momentum itself. And look here. Okay, I just want to show you how many times these RSI power zones helped capture weakness in the euro market. If you're trading FX and you're not using RSI power zones, you're missing out. So now let's dial into this most recent action and get really granular here, okay? So notice, just like how the dollar index is kind of churning after hitting a resistance, the euro is churning. It's just going sideways. It's not really aggressively pushing in one direction after meeting its most recent key level here at the mid-July low in 2022. So it's the exact same type of analysis, but now we're looking at the flip side, as if we turn the chart upside down. So if we have any sort of recovery here, and that recovery gets above 1.0046, that's where I'd be concerned, okay? Because that would suggest that bears might be running out of steam, and we might see recovery back towards 1.0275. Okay, I'm not just picking these numbers out of nowhere, guys. I'm using my tried and true methods for determining support and resistance, and because I've been doing it for 20 plus years, it looks really fast. But there's thought that's going into this. It's just I'm so used to pulling them out that I don't have to take too long to decide, yes, that's the level. And again, put the descriptions in my Tribe Portal next to this video. All right, one more level. Let's look at a forecast in case the euro continues to move lower. So again, I'm going to pause the screen and be back to you. All right, I'm back. So that didn't take very long at all. And this forecast that I have now is for the euro to weaken into 0.9705 if it continues to push past 0.9952, and to do so by August 30th. Now hold up, guys. Didn't I just mention August 30th? I did, on the dollar index. And it's completely different cycles and data that are producing the August 30th forecast for the dollar index as opposed to the August 30th forecast here for the euro. That's the beauty of cycles. They can sometimes create these clusters of dates or clusters of prices that show you, hey, this is a really sensitive area or sensitive time. So this is a sensitive time for the FX market is August 30th, right? So if you're trading into that day and trading on that day, really pay attention to what's going on in the very short-term action, the daily or lower, so you can be prepared for opportunities. So we'll see what unfolds, all right? But now I'm prepared, and I've got you guys prepared for both sides of the coin. Whether the dollar index and euro keep making those multi-year, generational highs and lows, or if they start coming back in their other directions and what to look out for. So remember to subscribe, like, comment down below, share with me what you learned in this video, and follow and join my tribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the inside. You can sign up at the link to join my tribe and get my hot, timely, actionable updates as soon as I publish right to your inbox.